Hey, what's going on, everyone? Axel here. Today we're going to talk about brand loyalty in the video game industry. And this phenomenon is thrown around in a more derogatory sense with the term fanboy in the video game community. So I'm going to talk about this phenomenon, what I think of it, what it is, and what I think should be done about it or not done about it, things like that. So let's get started. Let's start with, why do people feel the need to pick a side when it comes to video games? When we talk about brand loyalty in the video game industry, we're basically talking about Microsoft, Xbox fans, Sony PlayStation fans, Nintendo fans, and PC, quote-unquote, master race PC gamers. And it's kind of funny, like, why do people feel the need to pick a side? That's the big question. And I thought a lot about that, and I think the answer really comes down to passion, because that's what makes someone like me want to make a video like this, or makes people actually get into debates about which video game system is best. It's all about passion. That's in the end what it boils down to. Video games, for a lot of people like me and other people that are just very into them to the point where it's a significant part of their life, and that's what they like to do with their free time. It's one of their biggest hobbies or main hobby. It really boils down to passion. People develop this emotional attachment to video games, and they treat a lot of people. Now, I'm not one of those people who attaches to a certain brand, but for a lot of people who have this passion, they often attach it to a certain brand if that brand is associated with the video games that they are most passionate about. So someone who grew up loving the Final Fantasy games might have an emotional attachment to PlayStation, because games like Final Fantasy VII, the biggest Final Fantasy games, were on PlayStation. So if someone else grew up with Super Mario and always played Nintendo games, they might have a passion about Nintendo, etc., etc. So when it comes to someone else, those people want to not just play their games. They want to think that their games are the best, because it kind of validates their passion. And that's what I think drives people to argue about these things. Like, they want to think of their game as the best because they are the most passionate about that particular game, that particular system, and it honestly makes them feel better as a person if they can in their mind prove to themselves that their particular brand is the best brand. It validates their choice to choose that particular brand over the others. I don't think it's about validation all the time, though. A lot of the times it's purely about passion. It's purely arguing because they're on an emotional state with their passion, where they treat their particular video game brand almost as a little sister, if you could say, or a little brother. They defend their particular brand because they see any kind of criticism to their brand as an attack, and it's just a purely emotional response, and there's no more depth to it than that. I think there's a lot of other reasons as well. For example, finances, money. A lot of people might spend $1,000 on an Xbox One plus a bunch of Xbox One games and accessories, and they don't want to feel that their console that they spent all their money on was a waste of money. They don't like it when people come out and say things like, "Oh, the PS4 has better exclusives." Xbox One owners might feel bad about that and want to defend their purchase just so they can validate their financial decision to go with one console over another. Maybe they feel guilty about it, and arguing and attacking the other console, helping bring down the other brand in their minds, makes them feel better about their purchase. Now let's talk about brand loyalty and how it affects the gaming industry. I think in the end, brand loyalty in any form ultimately is good for the companies, but bad for gamers as a whole. Now, why is that? Brand loyalty essentially means that you are blindly loyal to one company. Say, let's take a Nintendo fanboy. That person will buy Nintendo products. It doesn't matter if Nintendo's console comes out and it's $300 or $500. That person will buy Nintendo. They will buy their games, and they will not buy games from a competing company like a PS4 or Xbox One, no matter if they offer a great deal, a better deal than Nintendo. So that goes against competition. And competition is what you want in the video game industry, because that requires companies to essentially sacrifice their profits in order to make their products more appealing to customers. Now, what you don't want is a monopoly where one company has all the control, because then they don't have to really go out of their way to offer consumers a great product. And we can see this right now. Xbox One, they had a terrible launch. And because of that, they've been trying to catch up, and they've been very aggressive, and they've offered consumers a lot of incentives to go with an Xbox in order to help them match PS4, or at least help them compete with the PS4. For example, Xbox One backwards compatibility. They never would have done that if the Xbox One was the most successful console of this generation. Look at the PS4. They aren't doing backwards compatibility because they don't need to. They're winning, and they don't need to offer that to the consumer because they're already doing so well. So that's an example of a service that Xbox wouldn't be doing if they were ahead. They're going out of their way to make their product more valuable so it can compete. So in the end, I think anyone that is blindly loyal to one company over the other that goes against competition and ultimately hurts gamers as a whole. So at the end of the day, I think my message to anyone listening to this would be that, hey, just be someone who enjoys games. There's no reason to go with one console over another and like blindly be only loyal to one company. I mean, and of course, there is a reason to go for, like, I'm not trying to say that some consoles aren't better than others and people can have different tastes and preferences. That's fine, but just keep an open mind. Don't write off a company forever just because you didn't like one game, or because you are particularly passionate about Nintendo or Sony. Just be someone who likes games. Just go and buy the best games, no matter who makes them, where they come from. Now, I know not everyone can afford more than one console, so I understand that, but I'm just saying your mindset should just be one of just enjoy games. Don't worry about what company it comes from. Don't hate on a game just because it comes from a Sony and you happen to be an Xbox One owner or a Nintendo console owner only. At the end of the day, if everyone is more open to going over to other companies that they haven't been to before, that helps everyone, because companies will push and make their games better and better, and will offer customers more and more benefits for going with their system over another. So in the end, it benefits everyone if we all just forget about companies and just go where the best games are, or support the games we like the most. That's going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Please comment below and let me know if you agree or disagree with what I've said, if you have any of your own thoughts, anything like that. And as always, please subscribe, share, all that, comment, follow me on social media if you want to see more videos like this in the future. That's all for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed. You have a good one. Take care.